for today's stretching session, and I have my tea here. So welcome to all fellow targeted individuals, and really anyone, because we all have stress in our daily lives, and these are some of the practices that you can implement in order that you may be more flexible, and basically you can choose to direct your own energy rather than letting the outside stress do that. So, yeah. And yesterday I was quite busy. Oh yeah, I also wanted to talk about, especially to all of my fellow targeted individuals, I posted a video to TikTok recently, and it was taken down, and I guess it was just taken down by the algorithm because it happened right away. But in that video, like, I was being rational. I was also advising other targeted individuals to stay rational, and there was even evidence of a noise campaign in the same video. And so I disputed it, and someone must have viewed it and decided to put it back up. After they put it back up, it got over 1,000 views, and then they took it down again. And I feel like, I mean, obviously, like, we are human beings that are being abused. And when I have evidence in the video and I'm trying to help other victims not fall into the propaganda traps, and they cut me off and take my video down and give my channel a violation, that is like, it is, in my opinion, it's a violation of my free speech. And yeah, what can I say though? You know, I didn't want to let that get me down too much. I just wanted to mention it today. And so yeah, these practices are going to help a lot. Also, like, right after I, came into the living room and walked around a little bit, there was a noise campaign, probably trying to really, they hit me last night with taking my video down this morning. I come in here and all of a sudden there's all kind of noise, and then it calmed down, thank God. And I did my protocols that I've told you about on this channel. I'll mention them again for new viewers. And that is, first of all, you rebuke any, like, if there is any negative intention, if they are trying to drag you down, the best thing you can do is just say, and you never know. So what you do is you say, I rebuke any ill will and negative intention in Jesus Christ's name. And that's what you do first. Then you have a breather. Right? I'm going through it right now. And this is what I'm doing. Hopefully these videos can stay here for people of the future to see what we went through. And hopefully this stops. I'm going to continue with my breather. This time I'm going to have somewhat of a longer breather. I mentioned this in yesterday's video. It is natural to breathe. We all breathe. But if they are doing noise campaigns and they are doing other things to affect you with stress, like, for example, taking away one of your only platforms where you're speaking out about the abuse that's happening to you, and you're being totally rational and you're being abused in the video, trying to be like they're trying to intimidate you in the video, and that's taken down, those type of things, that's just one example of the ways that they can stress you out. And you can choose to take control over your energy and not feed that. Like, for example, the best thing that I can do is continue on what I'm doing. You know, they're becoming so overt and even more abusive because I'm doing good. They don't want the fact that they're abusing us getting out. And so they're going to try to hinder us. And hopefully there are still some limits in this country to what they can do to us. And hopefully we still have some rights. Hopefully. Okay. Now, having said that, I also wanted to mention that I'm so happy when I played the video back, my previous live video. I could hear myself quite well, and I wasn't sure if I would be able to hear myself. Like, if you, as the viewer, are able to hear me, I wasn't sure when I was live yesterday because the camera was quite far away. However, when I watched it back, I could tell that it was loud enough. And I was happy because then I could talk at a more natural, like, tone for me, a more comfortable tone. And okay, so those are some of the things that I wanted to mention for targeted individuals. Now, the first pillar, I mentioned, like, it's like there's 3 pillars. The first pillar is tea. Yeah, a glass of tea. And it's also got the added benefit of being an aromatic, so you get the aromatherapy. Like, you could spend a lot of money on a chamomile essential oil, and I do have a essential oil diffuser. It is really good to have, like, because it creates an environment. And here's the thing, you could think of, like, your favorite scent, maybe somewhere you go that you love that smell or you love that place, and then you could get that, and you can imagine how that would be like doing yourself a favor and setting your day up to go more positively. Because, see, if you're a targeted individual, part of the methods that this program is using is setting your day up for another day of failure, and then over the long term, you know, that has accumulative effects. So you want to forgive that and let it go, and just don't focus on that. Do something like what I'm talking about. It may seem simple, but it really matters. Okay, so tea also has that aromatherapy to it. You know, memory and scent are closely tied in the brain. And if you keep having the tea while you're doing these sessions of stretching and massage, like, those get related and it just becomes very comforting. And then on top of that, like, chamomile is a very, like, calming tea. So, and you can look up the research on that. I have noticed that it really helps. So that's how I start my session out. And hello to anyone who's joining. Thank you for the comment. I can't quite read it from here, but I do appreciate it. Thank you. must work together to expose this type of abuse that is happening to us. It is very important that we do so. We should not let them get away with this, and who knows, like, how much worse it can get if we don't speak out. It is important, in order that you preserve the freedom of speech, that you use your freedom of speech, right? So if you speak out, when you are being silenced, or an attempt, or like they're trying to intimidate you so you don't speak out, something like that, trying to confuse you, trying to drag you down, make you not feel like, you see what I'm saying? Those are all subtle and covert attempts at silencing you. That being said, that's also a warning. It is now obvious to you that you must use what freedom of speech you have left. That is how freedom of speech has been preserved in the past. Because if they try to knock you off balance or intimidate you and you go silent, they've got what they wanted, and they are your abusers. They're abusing you. Those are not your friends. You do not want to cooperate with them. Like, look at all the types of abuse they do. That speaks as to their character. So, yeah. And you want to not focus on them, but rather choose to control your own energy and do good things for yourself. All right, I'm going to do a quick warm-up. And then I think I went like this yesterday. So I'm trying to remember what I did yesterday, because it was kind of a lot, and I'm able to remember, I think, so that's good. This channel would be good for a beginner at exercise. Like, if you actually, as a matter of fact, on my channel, and I spoke on this yesterday, and that is, it's quite accessible, because if you're like at a stage where you're being bombarded by stress, you can just start out with the positive affirmations. Like, I understand how it can get, but that will help you to get started. And then eventually, like, I also have cleaning videos, I also have walking videos, I also have stretching videos, and now I'm doing, the 3 pillars. So let's do this. This is just to get the blood flowing again after like having tea and resting, especially since it's chamomile tea, which is very relaxing. Okay. Then I went into the massage session. All right, here we go. Okay. Oh yeah. Before I turn that on, I want to move my tea over here. Okay. I also have my weights up here. I probably shouldn't have those right now. Okay. So, okay. Let's, I guess I just want to mention that this is like the second pillar, which would be massage. So first you have your tea. If you want, if you need more energy, you can have green tea. I recommend green tea over coffee. I was just thinking, was there anything else I wanted to say about the tea? Yeah, you know, chamomile tea, it's relaxing. You can have green tea if you need more energy. A lot of antioxidants. Okay, so now the massage session. Okay, so I highly recommend massage, especially if you deal with stress. And I wanted to mention that, like, everybody deals with stress from the outside world, right? And so I've been thinking about kind of incorporating, saying worldly stress, etc. But for targeted individuals, this is going to be especially helpful to you because we deal with organized harassment, and we're actually singled out and targeted. So we're going to have a lot of that, and these practices are so important for helping you to endure all of this. However, I think anyone would benefit from these practices because everyone's going to run into some stress or whatever. And if they do these things, it's going to make them more flexible and ready to handle those things in a peaceful, positive way. So, yeah, okay. And so that's one of the things like I wanted to mention for the massage session. Here we go. Like when I got called a whale yesterday online. Oh, that's funny. I think I handled that quite well. And it's probably because like I had a good day of, physical activity, eating healthy, drinking tea, and so I was like, well, this guy's giving me a perfect opportunity to show that I'm walking the walk. I also mentioned during that time that you could feel motivated by someone being positive if you choose, or if you're already in a negative space, you can just make it worse by but no. And what I want, like my point there is, energy can be and I don't want to use the word energy because it doesn't seem to have roots in reality, but so if someone else is positive, energetic, and they're cleaning the house, personally I feel like I want to get up and do something. I feel like I'm being lazy or something, you know what I mean? That's good, I'm gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, and these positive practices have momentum. Oh, okay, so my point there was that I realized just now, after talking about that yesterday, is I realized that me being here and doing massage, having tea, stretching, that would actually be a good influence, especially for people who are being boxed in to a negative experience. They're getting theater, okay? They're getting street theater. They're being targeted. They're being made to feel like it's all bad, right? That effect is being used on targeted individuals. What I'm talking about, it's being used here in a positive way, but they're using it in a negative way. And so whenever you find something positive that's better, that you focus on that. And you know, Jesus's message is a good one, because, you know, forgiving them that they're doing that, um, it's helpful. It's helpful because it sets you free to, you know, do your own thing. You see, because they're not giving you that effect that I'm talking about of being surrounded with positivity. They're actually, by surrounding you, taking that out of your equation, right? And they're sabotaging as well. And it is so inhumane, because it's also covert. Maybe someone else wouldn't even know what's happening to you, but it has an accumulative effect, and it can be devastating. I think probably there's been people who turn to drugs, etc. I won't get too far into that now, but it's worse than it seems. And that is why it is so important that you choose to direct your energy, especially if you're being surrounded with street theater and you're being boxed in and isolated, etc. Well, in your house, you know, you can sanctify your house in the name of Jesus Christ and say, this is a house of energy, positivity, and I'm going to do good things. And whenever anything happens, I know I mentioned this a lot, but you rebuke it in the name of Jesus Christ, have a breather, and get back to what you were doing. Now, the tightness, when you like release that with massage, think about it. It's like, for example, if you're tight, or for example, if you're hungry, any negativity that you encounter may have a different effect than if you had a massage and you had a meal. So I also wanted to point that out. And let's see. Okay. I can't quite see here, but thank you. Thank you everyone for joining. Whoa. Oh yeah. So when that guy called me a whale, I said that, oh, thank you, I'm gonna work out now. You know? And I did work out. So like when I started massaging right here, it kind of felt good. Something I was contemplating right now is like, I know that I'm able to forgive the noise campaigns, etc. I'm at a place where it's easier and faster now. Um, and I can focus on doing good things for myself and others. That being said, I'm starting to think maybe I should like not even mention the negativity. But then again, you know, and this is something that when I get into this, it's always kind of a back and forth because on one hand, like I kind of don't even want to even mention it. But on the other hand, like if you're a targeted individual, you know that it's too serious, it's too severe, and you're singled out, and it's very unfair. And so there's that, like, which is why I'm here talking about, you know, what they're doing, the abuse, and being a targeted individual, etc. So, anyways, just throwing that out there. Um, I feel like where I'm at, and this is pretty much the conclusion that I came to before, and when I think about this, this is usually the conclusion that I come to, and that is, all things considered, like what I just mentioned, it is best to be balanced and, you know, use the practices and protocols that I've talked about, and also speak out on it as well, at times, you know. You'd be surprised how much of your body you can massage with this. And then, like, right for the middle of the back, upper middle, you can get a massage chair. And it doesn't have to be a chair. Like, you can just get something to go over your chair. So that's a lot cheaper. mentioned yesterday, it's very good to hold your stretches. Just make sure that it's not painful. Okay. Stretching is so relaxing. I put lotion on my face today, and I also have a cat, so I think like I can feel some of the cat hair sometimes. I had a very light breakfast today, so I'm looking forward to lunch. What I had for breakfast is chamomile tea, green tea, and then I put those in the blender with some lettuce, and it actually turned out really good because it's frothy and the lettuce adds some sweetness, so I liked it. Yesterday I had that with coffee, and it was better today because the green tea is not as strong flavored as the coffee. So, and then the chamomile was good. To be honest, I did feel somewhat drained this morning from the fact that I've been trying so hard to build and they keep knocking me down. Like, it was kind of draining when I woke up, and then there was another noise campaign. And I still use my protocols and everything. But I just thought I would mention that because it's true, and if there are other people out there who are going through stress, harassment, etc., it they have someone to relate to. Now that I think about it, I kind of wish I mentioned it right at the beginning of the video. But yeah, I'm doing the right thing to keep going. Like, just building alone makes you tired, right? You get tired from hard work. But then to get knocked down, uh, that sucks. But see, I got back up. That's the thing. I got back up, and I will always continue to do so. I'll just pray about it. Hopefully, this isn't allowed. Someday this isn't allowed, and everyone has a fair chance. Oh yeah, make sure to get up on your side like that. Okay, no. Quick break. had some almonds. Almonds are a good snack, you know. If you like potato chips and stuff, I think almonds are a good alternative. Especially without seasoning. I think I'm just tired. And that's good. As you may know, if you watch my videos, I like to present myself where I'm at. You know what I mean? If I'm tired, that's where I'm at. And it is very helpful and important for people to know that if you feel tired, you can push through. And I'm also doing that right now, so yeah. You know, I decided to continue my healthy eating, to continue posting videos, and to continue stretching. Thank God the noise campaigns are not worse than they are. And today it's somewhat calm, so thank God for that. Sometimes I wonder if I have a regular viewer, even just one. Like if I have a regular viewer. I probably do, right? Because, yeah. Yeah, my videos get views. So, and I thank God for that as well. I've heard some targeted individuals talk about the fact that their videos aren't getting any views. And to that I would say, I think on YouTube it's important to be consistent. You gotta keep going. Might take a while. But yeah. Be consistent. Be helpful. Be as positive as is possible. You know, realistic. Be positive as is possible realistically. Because, for example, if you're a targeted individual, you know, that's the box they put you in. And there are other targeted individuals out there as well who want to hear your message as it is. So that's important. And that's part of the reason why, I do mention, what's happening to me, etc. in my videos, instead of just trying to be pure positive when this is going on. Can you imagine how draining that would be? Pretending that everything is fine and you're doing great and your life is awesome when you're a target. Like, that would be very draining. And not only that, but like there are people out there who really are not targets, and you know what I mean, they're doing that. You as a target have an audience of people that are being abused just like you are. And they want to hear your message as it is. So at the same time though, of course, you do want to be a good influence, right? Do your best that you can possibly do, and that's a good combo, right? You're being realistic, but also you are trying. I would have been surprised if I saw someone hold the stretch for a while. Like, I thought stretching was like, okay, I do this stretch, and then I do that stretch. But no, like, especially if you need, like, the more you need that stretch, the more your body needs that, the more important it is to hold it for a while without pain, but feeling the stretch. If you're watching, please click like. Yeah, on my channel I provide therapeutic practices for stress. Thank you everyone for joining. Please click like. I'm not sure if it was in here, but yeah. If you are, please click like. Thank you. On this channel, I do accessible therapeutic practices for stress. And breathe. Now I know we all breathe naturally, right? But when you're under stress, especially if you're being singled out or harassed, your breathing can become shallow, shorter. You want deep, long breaths. Slowly breathing in and slowly breathing out. And that's what I'm doing today. That's me presenting myself as I am, all things considered, as far as to what I'm going through with someone who is being harassed. Today, I'm slowing it down, but I'm moving forward nonetheless. I'm really tapping into like my therapeutic practices right now. And if you're a targeted individual, I highly recommend that whenever you're going through a real campaign, that's what you should do. Look within. Go within. And despite any outer chaos, call forth your inner peace. I feel so chilled. I feel so chillaxed right now. Ah, it works. I'm so happy to share this moment. I'm quite sure that this will be very restorative. And I thank God for any peace I could have done that even longer. Now please remember when you're going to get up, if you've been there a while, go to the side and then get up. Okay. Now, there are some more stretches that I have. I do highly recommend that you. Oh, excuse me. Chamomile tea is I think I once read or heard that it can neutralize some acid. I also wanted to mention that. I mentioned in yesterday's video that I want to be more flexible in this stretch right here, and I'll get there eventually. Yeah, this is my journey. I got some comments. Thank you. I appreciate it. Although I can't see them from here, I do appreciate it. Oh. Okay, that's pretty far for me. And yeah, remember, always, go at your own pace. Listen to your body. And, like, if you can't do it without pain, maybe that just tells you that you need to, ease up. But it also tells you that you should be consistent on that particular move, right? Like if you, when I say pain though, I don't mean, what I mean is if you feel tightness, like you're tight but you can't really go too far, well then that tells you that you're tight there. And yeah. So being consistent with the manageable and doable stretch is good. Right to the next one. Eventually you'll see me like evolve from my my process of stretching evolve and then into working out. So I hope you can join me for that journey. I greatly appreciate it. And do good for yourself as well. You know, we're starting here basic on easier moves. So it's a good time to start. That being said, if you're not ready for stretching, because I know people who go through stress can feel like things feel heavy. And if that's the case, I do have positive affirmations on my channel that you can relax and listen to. And then if you feel like it, you can try stretching. And eventually we will move into working out. This one kind of is, it feels quite therapeutic. It's almost like a self-hug. Okay, let's move to the other side. Oh. Okay. I feel a little tighter on this side. So I'm going easier on this one. Oh yeah, I did forget one stretch. So let's move into that one. Let me move this stuff out of the way. Okay. Here we go. So knees to one side, and I usually get a good back pop there. And then I don't think, like when I look at the camera, it looks like my head might not be in the view. And if that's the case, I'll see this when I watch it back, and I'll probably make sure to fix the placement of the camera. Okay. And the other way, oh yeah, it's like to my arm. I'm gonna just quickly. There we go. It smells so good. I think that's better. after I eat, I'll probably be even more tired. Like I'll be sleepy, but like in a good way. And today is quite relaxing, actually. Like I don't want to do this again. My back is kind of tired from all the activity yesterday, and so it's important that I do these laying down stretches for a longer period of time. I don't know if anybody would want to like join and because it's kind of slow paced, but that's my vibe, I guess. And if somebody wants to go at a slow pace, this would be the right one. Especially, if you're tight or you're a beginner and you need to hold those stretches for a longer period of time, then yeah, because that's where I'm at. So, and like I said, I try to present myself where I'm at. Also, if you have, like, so for me, I have a slight scoliosis, a slight curvature of my spine, and so it is so important that I do these practices. I can't not do these because then not only am I not reversing that, but I would be possibly letting it get worse. I can't do that, so here I am. And why not go live? Because there may be others in the same boat that I'm in. I was just thinking to myself, you know, oh yeah. I was thinking that maybe not every session needs to be the exact same, um, but then I also thought, well, to a certain degree, it should be to have some structure, right? So, like, yeah, maybe I could do a different stretch format, but maybe I wouldn't want to, like, throw in a mukbang or something. That can be a separate video, something like that. That's, I don't know. Right, so there is some structure, but at the same time, it's not like the same exact. Now, if you do want to see a mukbang, I could post another one of those later. We'll see. I don't know. And also, I guess, okay, so I was just thinking maybe I should be easier on myself and just do, just keep the camera on. Like, and then over time, once I get used to, doing this, then I can make it more structured, right? Rather than trying to come out from the beginning perfect, right? So, I mean, especially all things considered and what I go through, like, I gotta have some compassion on myself here. So yeah, today's video will be a little different. I think I'm gonna throw in, you know, some cooking, and also that's pretty much already all over my channel. Like I do a lot of cooking videos, so if I have any regulars here, they probably are into that anyway. So, let's see. So yeah, that's the stretching session for today. We did stretching, we did the massage, we did the drinking, but I'm really hungry now, so I'm gonna get some food. Okay. Here we go. I just have to make space so that I can put my camera here. Okay. I wish I could get it to like get a good view of the stove. I need like a upgraded tripod that can like swivel, because this one doesn't, you know, doesn't do that quite well. And so I guess what I'll do is I'll bring the food to the camera. Okay. So I made already, last night I made my scrambled egg. This is a pan sauce. Because I wanted to try a delicious, now this is going to be this meal right here. So I kind of fasted for breakfast, if you can consider that a fast, since I had lettuce and tea. Now, well, I don't know, let's just say I had a really light breakfast, and so I'm going to have like a portion-sized lunch that is like a normal meal. It's going to be kind of like a hamburger, but not really, because it's going to be on rice. Is it? Why did I say a hamburger? Well, because here's why. I used hamburger. That's pretty much it. Oh my god, that is so good. I just, in the pan sauce, to make it healthier, there's not a lot there, and I put a lot of mushrooms in there, and I tried one, and it's delicious because it's been sitting in the pan sauce last night, marinating. Okay. Now, let's see, I'm gonna need to, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my scrambled egg out and put it on a plate, and then I'm going to take my pan sauce with mushrooms and put it in here and cook it in here. And I need to think about that for a minute, because maybe I could use like, nah, who wants to like, this is already cooked, so why would I dirty another pan, right? Okay, so. I really like this idea. I think this meal is going to be pretty good. And oh my god, I just tasted the eggs. Oh my god, so good. I put fresh garlic in there. And you know me with my spices and herbs I put in there. And oh, this is going to be so good. I can already tell that this is going to be so good. Okay. So that you can get an idea, here is some egg that I made. This is the burger and rice, and then the gravy, the pan sauce gravy with mushrooms will go over the rice. But I do feel like that's a big portion. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get a smaller plate. And as you may know, I am on a diet, so you know, if you're on a diet, you'll probably find some tips here. You might already know this one, but using a smaller plate helps. Because, like, I don't know, psychologically, you feel like you're having more because the plate is smaller. That's what they say, so I'm just going to go with that. And then I'll be real with it. At other times, it's like, no, my stomach knows that was not enough. And that can be hard to do when you had such a light breakfast. But if you've been watching this video for a while, remember I mentioned I had some almonds? That probably helped me to be like, okay, this might be too much. You know, I'm not starving because of the almonds, right? So I'm going to cut the rice portion in half. Same with the eggs. And same with the burger. And the best part about this is, now you have 2 meals rather than 1. I'm gonna heat my sauce up separately because the mushrooms are raw. This has all been cooked, so I'll heat this up together. Oh yeah, so here's the smaller portion. Okay, so I'm gonna take this fork off so it doesn't fall. Now, so this is the size of that plate, right? And this is the size of this plate, and it's half. And now I have 2 meals instead of 1. And I think that's doable, right? Okay, so I'll cook the mushrooms first. And I'll save half of the gravy. I also put some fresh garlic in the gravy. So this is going to be extra garlicky to scare off those energy vampires. No, I'm being sarcastic. But really though, like, okay, so being realistic, herbs, spices, they're good for you. Okay, here we go. And we all deal with the stress of the world. And some of us are singled out. And it can seem like these people are like draining their energy. But really don't buy into it. Right? Really choose to direct your own energy and focus on what will be good for you. Okay, that should be good. Look at that. Mushroom gravy. Delicious. Okay. Plus, I saved half of my gravy. Then we're gonna heat this up. And I'm gonna actually remove the egg. I don't want to cook the egg over. So first I'm gonna do this. It might be a little extra work, but you want this to be primo. Here we go. Oh my god. I know this is gonna be so good. I already know. And if you know, you know. I see a lot of like Japanese restaurants doing this combo with the hamburger, the egg, and the rice, and then gravy. Oh my god. And they don't overcook the egg. Hello to the commenters, thank you. I would love to put some of my homemade macaroni and cheese on the side of it. Shit, I could eat this whole meal and put some macaroni and cheese. I'm not gonna do that though, because, you know, you gotta be good to yourself. Especially when you're dealing with, you know, everything we deal with, right? Okay, so comes the egg. I'm gonna go ahead and get a napkin and just cook that separately, not too long. Okay, I am so hungry, so this might not be the best presentation. Okay, this is steaming hot. Oh, so it does look really good though, right? Okay, let's put it in the middle. Should I? No. And then, you know what? My burger. See, I kind of flattened out my rice and my burger. I'm gonna cut it in half. To kind of like. Okay. This is also somewhat similar. I don't know because there's none of the ingredients. Okay. Well, it's somewhat simple. Okay, so I put some gravy, a couple spoons of gravy on the rice, and I cut up my burger. So I'm gonna place it on there. Okay. It's on there. And one more spoon of gravy. So this is actually different than I see in the Japanese videos. This is quite different. So yeah, I'm not trying to say that's what I'm creating here. I'm doing, I guess, my own thing. Okay. But I did get somewhat inspired from the ingredients because it looked tasty. So the ingredients are similar. I'm just doing it a different way, a very different way. And, you know, trying to portion size and all that. Okay. I also cut the egg in half. I put another spoon of gravy on the meat. Then I put the eggs, one more spoon of gravy. And I already have this portion, you know, controlled amount of gravy. I'm just cutting it out so that the flavor is consistent throughout the meal. I learned that from a chef probably. I remember I heard that on YouTube from someone. I used to home cook or whatever because they knew what they were talking about. Like, for example, instead of adding a whole bunch of salt to one ingredient, what you want to do is add a little bit of salt to each one. I think I took kind of long to talk while I was making this and present and everything. Here we go. That's it. It is still steaming. All right. I guess it's not going to be cold or anything. Okay. I like my food hot though, so let's heat it. Oh my god, I told you, doesn't that look good, right? I know that looks good, and it is good too. Okay. Okay, I heated it up again somewhat. Oh, excuse me, and let's go do our mukbang. I'll be burping a lot after drink chamomile. Please forgive me. And I think it's healthy. Okay, here we go. Oh my god. It's not very bright right there. Okay. Mukbang time. And yeah, when I cut into this with my spoon, it's not too. I wish I had like a. I need to get like a stool. But anyway, so that I can like. But yeah, what was I gonna say? When I cut into it, I can tell actually there's not too much gravy, but it's well dispersed. So I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. Oh, but it's not very bright though. But yeah, I'll go back to the light then. Okay. So if you can see here, let's see what I'm talking about. It's not like actually a lot of. Hold on, I gotta see the camera myself. This is funny. I'm learning. Okay. take a bite. They say that on a lot of videos that I watch, cooking videos. Okay. Mmm. I really taste that garlic. Mmm. Oh my god. Ooh. Nice and hot. Mmm. It's steaming. I love it. The first bite that I took was cooled down because I kind of cut up early, and then I was presenting it and everything. So that bite was cool, and the next bite was perfectly fresh and hot and all that. Mm. Mm. delicious. The tea's really good too. Okay, like I said, the food coma, I knew there was going to be one because I was already feeling, relaxed. Excuse me. I'm so glad I didn't eat that whole plate because I'm full. And I tried to take my time, kind of. So, I think it would be like a good idea to have a walk after you eat. You might feel tired, but actually, if you're trying to watch your blood sugar levels, I remember hearing on YouTube that having a walk after you eat, it really gets them going in a good direction rather than a bad direction as far as your blood sugar levels. And it can be so difficult to uh, get up and be active like right after you eat, and it can be so easy to just relax, but actually that's the best time to move. So that being said, I'll take the camera with me to clean up. It's also good to clean up when, like, wash your plate when you're done. Not only because you get movement, but also because it's easier. If you wait, it's even harder. Plus, you miss your opportunity to kind of like affect those blood sugar levels. Okay. One moment. Okay, before I get to work, I'm going to sit down for a minute. All right. And relax. It's starting to get cold out here. So. Yeah. I noticed that my back is feeling tired from all the sitting up without a backrest and um, moving around like a lot. And so, in order that I may continue to do these videos, um, I'm going to have to make sure that I don't sit up without a backrest too long. It is good. I think I'm building my strength. But I also think that when you have slight scoliosis, there can be like issues with that as far as like something about, yeah, like I can't get into the science of it too much, but here's what I remember. Like sometimes when things are misaligned as far as your bones go, the wrong muscles get overtaxed, something like that. And I'm feeling that. And so therefore, I'm going to need breaks or like I'm just gonna need to strategize because actually it's good for me to be stretching, right? I'm doing a good thing for my back, and it's hopefully realigning it. Um, but that being said, this particular time, because I just ate, I'm not gonna rest very long. Like I might sit here for a few minutes just to give my back a break, and then I gotta go. I gotta get into it, and it's even harder when you sit down. Then it's even harder when you start to relax. But I'll do it. So here I am presenting as I am and pushing forward. That's what you have to do. But don't hurt yourself. Like listen to your body. I had a candle going. It smelled so good while I was doing that. I love it so much. But I blew it out because I was gonna walk. And then when I went to go walk, I realized I needed to blow my nose. I'm like explaining everything stuff, but why not? You know, this is when I was off camera. So when I went in there, I realized I needed to blow my nose, and then I kind of wiped my nose with a tissue because it's gonna be runny. But anyway, then I was like, maybe I should get a jacket. So I got my jacket on, and I was realizing when I got my jacket, I was realizing that my back is pretty strained, pretty tired. And I was like, well, I do gotta like, keep that momentum going of movement, but at the same time, like, if I hurt myself, I'll have to be in bed for who knows how long, and I can't afford that, right? It's time to diet. It's time to move. So it's very important that I pay attention to this right here. I'm almost thinking that I shouldn't walk, but I really want to be a positive influence. So I am gonna walk. I won't walk too long, but I'm gonna do what I can, and then after that, I'm gonna have to strategize. Be careful. So what will I do? You get to see the kind of like the behind the scenes like construction construction phase part of the YouTube. Um, and this is because I'm building a routine, and I'm alone. I'm okay with that. I just had to burp. I'm alone, and when I say that, what I'm trying to impress and kind of let people understand is there are people who have a YouTube channel that is successful, and they have a team for their YouTube, a team of people. And so not only am I like recovery for my back, recovering my back, so I'm in recovery as far as like going from having slight scoliosis and it getting worse to stopping that process and reversing it. Okay, so that should be like a top priority. Because if that continues, then what even can I do at all, right? So, okay, so there's that, right? And then, like I said, YouTube can be, you know, quite a job. Sometimes it takes a team of people, and I'm already kind of like I said, I have some things, and so what I do is I present myself as I am and where I'm at, and so basically my channel is kind of like a join me for my journey. And if you are a targeted individual in particular, but really anybody that deals with a lot, this would be beneficial. All right, that being said, I'm gonna walk, not that long, but yeah, I will. And I'm feeling the heaviness of having that meal. And thank God that it wasn't the whole plate. Maybe I wouldn't be getting up to, do the walk. I'd be okay. Now I put the camera back for a moment because actually the table where I put my tripod, it has a pot on it and stuff, so I'm gonna move that. The pot is clean. I just don't really know where to put this. I'm gonna have to organize this later. And actually, you can join me for that process as well. Because yeah, that's what I was gonna do, right? Clean up first. It's just I got a runny nose and I felt cold. Okay, here we go. And then I realized my back hurt. Yeah, I don't think I need to reiterate again. I keep doing that, but okay. Here we go. So, I have my food here. That's going to be put away. And I'm going to put that in a a bowl. A bowl. I can't remember what these are called. No wasting in this house. So one thing that I'm gonna have to wash is the gravy bowl. Come on. Okay. Let's put the plate under that. Big plate. And then our portion sized plate. And then the microwave egg maker. I know that might sound gross, but using the microwave is not as bad as it, especially like health wise, it's not as bad as it may seem. Because I think there's a lot of like, pseudoscience around that. But from what I've heard, like actually, like, did you know? And I think this should be obvious, but if you saute, or which is really pan frying your vegetables instead of microwaving them, I mean, I think microwaving them would actually be healthier. And then there's even to more of an amount or a degree that you might expect, because even pan frying it without oil, microwaving it might be better, or boiling it, microwaving it might be better. And here's why. Now, this is according to what I've researched. The microwave, like, there are a lot of benefits to eating raw vegetables and raw fruit. And the microwave, especially if you don't microwave it too long, it can preserve a lot of, whatever it is that is healthy. Um, I'm not positive, but it may be something like the or something like that. It says reconnecting. Okay, I hope we're still connected. It might preserve the good bacteria, or maybe not that, right? Because it's getting microwaved, but something like that that raw foods have. Um, so I looked into that, and I was surprised because you might hear that the microwave is unhealthy, but that's what I heard is actually when I looked into it, because I've heard that it's unhealthy, I looked into it to find out, and they actually said that it can have benefits. Like, for example, steaming would be a good one. Steaming your vegetables. So, and if you don't feel like going through all of that, microwaving it might be the next best thing. But I'm not. What I'm quite sure of is it's probably better than you might think. As well, let's say this. I'm quite sure that it's probably better than I thought it was to use the microwave, especially for vegetables. So yeah, I gotta get back to. Excuse me. And so I'm up and moving. These are fennel seeds. Fennel seeds. Fresh flavor. Did you know human ancestors a long time ago, before they had gum, they would chew fennel seeds? And they're good. It's like gum, but it's not the texture of gum. It's flavor. And I wouldn't even say that. But if you like a licorice flavor, try fennel seeds. Because they're healthy. I try to eat a lot of like acid neutralizing foods. Which is why I might burp a lot. So for example, fennel seeds. Um, and then they're probably quite low in calories. I'm not sure about it, but that's my guess. But I didn't have that many. So, returning to what I was talking about, fennel seeds, they that minty flavor makes you produce saliva, and saliva is neutral, and it neutralizes acid. And so yeah, that's one of the reasons why I burp a lot. It's because I incorporate fennel seeds or different things like chamomile also seems to have that effect. And yeah, I incorporate those things into my diet because neutralizing acid in the body is, I think, a good idea from what I've researched. Um, for example, something that I hear about a lot is anti-inflammatory foods. That's another one. Having anti-inflammatory foods. So I add ginger to my diet and stuff like that. And I've mentioned this before. I've done a lot of research as far as nutrition goes. So, like, if I'm making a recipe, even if I'm not talking about all of those healthy benefits, they're there. You know what I mean? Like, if you follow that recipe, you may not know it, but actually it's quite healing. And yeah, so, and especially now that I'm on my diet. And because I just mentioned that, I will also mention, like, if you want to be super healthy, I try to be balanced and not go too hard on myself. But if you want to be super healthy, you could switch out the meat for maybe that I had in the meal today, hamburger, right? So maybe switch that out for a portobello mushroom or tofu. I just wanted to give the option, but since I already had a lettuce smoothie with green tea and chamomile tea for breakfast, I felt like I wanted some protein, and so that's what I went with. I probably could have chose a leaner protein, a healthier protein, but um, I understand that balance is key. Excuse me. See the fennel seeds. And plus, I don't know about this. I don't remember hearing this in my research, but I think they also have an effect on my mood. You can imagine how something that has a fresh licorice or minty smell and taste can be, what is the word that I'm looking for? It's relaxing, I guess. Or it may be something in the fennel seeds that has a relaxing chemical or whatever. I don't know. Or produces one. I don't know. Well, okay. I just figured one. I like. Okay, reducing acidity in your stomach is going to affect your mood because when you're acidic, or maybe you have heartburn, that's going to affect your mood in a negative way. So if you have fennel seeds and it neutralizes it, that's going to create, that's going to neutralize also the, you know, whatever negative mood feelings or whatever, right? So yeah, it's good to be standing and it's good to be moving. I want these to rinse. So good time for a walk. And we're walking. Oh, that's funny. Okay. Should I turn this off? There's a light like right here. Let's see. Yeah, it's there's a light right there, so it's more balanced this way. Because that one's like down there on the table. Okay. So, uh, I'm feeling the sluggishness from the food. Oh, but I'm so happy that I'm full. I got this treadmill on Amazon. I kind of feel like I'm just talking right now just to talk. I'm gonna. I love walking. Oh my god! Like, that's funny because I always like to say that I learned when you eat, you should focus on your food. But funnily enough, although I don't hear this as much, when I walk, it's hard to explain. But just think about that, mindful practice of eating. I like to do that when I'm walking. And if you like to walk, I'm pretty sure you know what I'm talking about. Like if you practice walking regularly, especially if you enjoy it, you know. And I can, like, one thing that I'm conscious of right now, it's kind of like, is my treadmill, I must have moved it when I was sleeping or something. I could tell. I could tell. That's better. Okay, now I feel comfortable saying, like, sharing this. I just wanted to reconnect with my walking process real quick and get back into it. I just wanted to say that having a treadmill at the house, and this one is a walking pad, it doesn't have the stand. It's a lot more affordable, it's convenient, it takes up less space, and I wanted to say that it's very good to have on hand so that you can get a walk in at any time, especially if you're a targeted individual or you deal with any type of harassment or anything like that. You still want to move. You still want to walk. It's so important. And it's so enjoyable. And it has a good effect on the rest of your day. And it's funny because when I was sitting there halfway into my food coma, I felt like I didn't want to get up. I wanted to relax and rest. And I know, the conventional wisdom says you gotta move, especially if you're trying to watch your blood sugar. And so I got up anyway. And it's funny because when I started walking, it's like right away, I'm so happy that I did. So yeah. I was just thinking, I was only planning to walk 5 minutes because I gotta be careful with my back. And yeah. Okay. I'm gonna go put some chapstick on real quick and I'll be right back. I'm so glad my back is not hurting. Now, all I have to do is relax. I can still post videos and everything like that, but oh, wow. looking back over the past few years, really, I've had quite the journey, and I'll try to speed through it real quick. I had gallstones for many years, severe pain, etc. Eventually, I got those out. I was so motivated. I had always promised myself that if I got those out, I'm going to work out, I'm going to exercise, I'm going to do good in the world, I'm going to contribute, I'm going to go somewhere basically and, do good. I was so motivated, then I encountered gang stalking and found out when I got out there that it seemed like I really didn't want to talk about it. I did talk about it in a previous video. And let's see. What I was thinking about is I'm so glad that I'm at a place where I was able to cook. I was able to meal prep all those meals. And I was resting. I would meal prep and rest. Meal prep and rest. You could cook once and then have 3 days worth of meals. And you could rest your back if you needed that. And of course, I was gonna say, of course, I gained weight. I was surprised that I cooked good. I was like, but then again, I guess I shouldn't have been because I did a lot of research about nutrition. And during that time that I researched nutrition, I found out a lot about herbs. And so, of course, I became so curious about herbs. So I went and tried. Like, I remember I even wanted to plant them. And that was so difficult back in the day, man. I remember that when I had gallstones and I was trying to. Whoa, I really pushed myself, let me tell you. Anyway, I remember I was at buying plants, and I was so excited to try the taste of the different herbs. And I eventually tasted a lot of different herbs, and I just really want to convey that it's so important that you try the flavor of different culinary herbs. Why not? Find out what you like. There's all kind of herbs with different flavors. Why not try as many as you can? So that was a fun experience and a fun journey. Let's get that a moment. My channel is called Guided Visualization, and sometimes I like to envision myself with Jesus in a peaceful atmosphere, lots of nature, just standing there calm, looking at the view. When some noise campaign happens, I like to envision that. And it can turn a disruptive interruption into like a relaxing, enjoyable moment. Because there's going to be noise, right? Even if you're not a targeted individual, there's going to be noise. And today, there hasn't been more than usual, but sometimes it's like a campaign. It's like one thing after another, and that's where you can develop those type of techniques. And I'm so happy to be able to share like a visualization with you. You can think of your favorite place. Just put your focus somewhere good. Alright. So I was talking about tasting different culinary herbs. And I highly recommend it because I really feel like that had a good effect and impact on my cooking. I know what I like. And I talked about this before, but when you open up to the idea of making the noise and the distractions part of your meditation, letting them go, etc., eventually you may also start to find that they can actually remind you to meditate. Eventually, once you have become accustomed to like embracing them, or at least letting them go, once you have become accustomed to that, you may notice that sometimes you can, be busy or whatever, and then that happens, and actually it reminds you of meditation, and it's actually helpful. That can happen, especially if you're like not dealing with like organized harassment or something, and it's just like more organic style. It's more doable. But even if you are a TI, it's, well, as far as my level of harassment that I get, sometimes there are times where that is doable. But then again, like I said, today's kind of like a calm day. So I'm starting to feel some eye strain from looking at the screen, so I'm going to kind of look off from the screen. I figure I should probably continue to talk, although I'm feeling so relaxed. But I still want to make this video entertaining for anyone who's watching. So, what other like positive practices can I think of? Well, there are people who do meditation videos, right? And they just sit there and basically you're meditating with someone else. So, oh, all right, I got a like, I did get a like. There's one like there, so that's good. But yeah, if you have ever seen that, yeah, some people meditate on camera and then someone else will stream the video and they will also meditate, and it's like they're practicing together because they are in a way, and especially if it's live, right? So I just gotta remember that whenever I want to relax, like I'm meditating live, and someone else, if they saw that, they may be inspired or influenced in a positive way to do the same thing. You can even meditate on the Bible, or you could do a visualization. Something inspiring, something relaxing, or you could clear your mind. You could practice focusing on your breath. I'm glad I put my food away and rinsed those dishes. And I'm glad I went for a walk, and I'm glad that I portion sized my meal. I have found that it is very inspiring for me to be on camera live, because then I want to put my best foot forward, especially as someone who has been, boxed in with negativity, noise campaigns, harassment, etc. It's all the more important that I be a positive influence for others. And it really does inspire me. It gets me going. Like, I actually do these things. And so I thank God for the opportunity to be able to do these things. And I'm so happy that this is possible. And I hope it does inspire someone. I know a lot of the things that I do were learned from other people, of course, right? And the inspiration, etc. Like when you read a book that was written by someone, they took the time to do that, and maybe they got inspired because of it. And no matter what happens, like even if they block your channel or they shadow ban you or anything like that, I just want to tell you keep going, keep doing good for yourself because that's what I'll do. If ever that happened, and I pray that it doesn't, but if it did, I'll keep going and you keep going as well. And also, it's all the more important that you do speak out. It's all the more important that you not only stay healthier, but get even healthier and fitter. What I meant to say was stay healthy and get even healthier. I wish I checked the time when I ate, but I'm assuming it was around 12, maybe 12:30. So that's good. My breakfast was not. My lunch was, you know, portioned well. And it's nice to know that I have another meal. I might do the lettuce and tea again when I feel hungry. And then I'll wait until I feel hungry again. And I might stay on live. I'm not sure if there will ever be someone watching this video that's like, all right, who knows? But anyway, I might do that lettuce tea smoothie and a good meal to look forward to again because I have to. At this point, I was pretty much feeling like, yeah, I want to stay on video, I want to stay live, and maybe there are people who will appreciate a longer video. I know I do. So, and as TIs, we are quite isolated and etc. So, not only do we have time, but also um, we should use that time wisely. And also, it helps to have, someone else who is going through this, but also trying to stay positive or trying to do productive things and good things, etc. So I'm okay with sometimes being quiet or whatever. I wonder what that means. It says number one, there's a crown. I think it means like most comments or something because it says top fans there. Oh, maybe they've commented before. And then, like, whoever commented the most, I guess they get like a title there. I might stretch again, but I'm still feeling, you know, full. I'm glad I had my walk. I might have to have some tissues. A piece of cheese on that burger meal or whatever you want to call it would have been good. Or some shredded cheese. I'm gonna even do that because I'm on a diet. Okay, let's clean up. I gotta keep moving. Take my multivitamin. Oh, yeah. I wonder where I put those. I had more than I thought. Okay. Use my blender. Make sure to clean that right away. Used that this morning for my lettuce. I like to microwave my sponge for 30 seconds. just gonna go to the bathroom real quick. I like to pop my back real quick. You never know, like maybe someday, like after I've been working out for a while, you know, well, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but yeah, I'm pretty sure my channel will improve, like my content will improve over time, of course. And today I'm pretty tired because I went all out yesterday, and I'm still going, and I still enjoy it. Yesterday I enjoyed it, and today I enjoy it, so. having a few almonds. Now I'm going to have the rest of my chamomile tea. It just so happens that everybody has loud motors around here. Not everybody, but it just so happens that there's a lot of loud motors around here. Ooh. Oh, my back. Sometimes when I press my back against the massage machine, it will pop. He was very calm. I guess that's it for now because this video is going to probably take a while to upload, and I think I've said pretty much all I had to say today. So if you've watched this video this far, thank you very much. I greatly appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.